Hello guys, I'm Bethany and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing my August wrap up. I almost said September. No, we are in September. I'm doing my August wrap up, all the books that I read in August. It is already the 6th. I'm just now sitting down to film this, but I'm so excited. I feel like I read some really good books in the month of August. I feel like I read some books that are kind of like out of the normal genre that I read. Also, the first few I read in reading vlogs. I did a doing book stuff video and I read a couple, and then I did a summer reading vlog where I read a few as well. So those I won't like harp on too much because obviously I talked about them in those videos. I say that, but watch me talk extensively, but I'm gonna try to keep it brief. And then I also read a few arcs that I also probably won't say too much about because they aren't out yet. I like to go in blind for arcs, like completely blind. So I want to also extend that same courtesy to you if you want to go in blind. So I won't say much about those. I will obviously say my thoughts, but not like the summary or anything like that. So let's just get into it. First, I read But He's My Roommate by Anna Conwell. This is the last book in the Carter Brothers series. Love this. It was so cute. Obviously it's a roommate's trope. Lily, what are you doing? My dog is underneath the tripod. It's obviously a roommate's trope. It's single parent. It is like a cozy fall read. Honestly, it's perfect for this time of year. I love the entire series. It's a closed door series following 4 different brothers. This one takes place in the fall and it is just so cozy, perfect for this time of year. So if you do want to skip the others, I do recommend those because I love them, but this one is perfect for the fall and I just loved it so much. It's kind of like a best friend sister, or in her point of view, it's brother's best friend type situation, and something happens, she ends up moving in with him and she has a little baby and it is just so sweet, so cute. I gave it 4.25 stars. It might be my favorite in the series. I just love the characters. I feel like the main character, I loved how he took care of her and the baby. It was just so sweet. I felt like the pacing was so good, the emotional depth was so good, and I just flew through it. I feel like through all of her books. I love them all. I'm really sad that the series is over, but I'm hopeful that she will do some like books on side characters from this world so we can get little glimpses of them because I do love these characters. I love this world. You see these characters in the previous books. If you have read the previous books, you kind of know them, you see little glimpses of them. Obviously the brother and even him and his kind of relationship with the female main character, you see a tiny bit in previous books. So anyways, really enjoyed it. Then I read The Grandest Game by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, which is a spin-off of the Inheritance Game series, which I read a couple years ago. And this basically, Avery from the Inheritance Games, she creates this game for all these contestants to compete and win, and you're following the contestants, a few of the contestants in the game, in The Grandest Game. And I was going into it a little like, I thought it was going to be the Hawthorne brothers that we were getting their POV. It is not. You definitely see them, but you're not getting their point of view. That's my fault. I just didn't really read much about the summary, and what I did read, I just misunderstood. So I did enjoy this. Like, it was a good time, but it was slightly boring, and I feel like I just like didn't really care because I like don't know these characters obviously as much as I know the Hawthorne brothers, and it is like a duology, so I'm going to end up reading the second one. And I honestly do recommend reading the Inheritance Games and the Brothers Hawthorne before you read this because you see these characters specifically in the Brothers Hawthorne, and I read that and didn't remember them, so maybe you could just go in blind. But honestly, I feel like these books are so good and so fun because you get to see glimpses of characters that you've known in the past because of the Inheritance Games. So anyways, I also think it's perfect for fall, so I gave it 3 stars. Enjoyed it, but like was kind of bored throughout most of it. Next, I read The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren, and I loved this book. It was so good, perfect for summer. Obviously it's not, or it's the end of summer now, but if you want to sneak in one more summery read before the end of the summer, I highly recommend this. It's basically about this couple who had like a fake marriage, like a marriage of convenience, and they are married for a couple years, they go their separate ways, and then a couple years later, the male main character goes to the female main character and is like, hey, like I need you to be my fake wife to go on vacation with me with my rich family and like pretend that we're still married because they didn't get a divorce. So you're basically following them as they are at this private island pretending to be married, and it's so fun, so entertaining. The summer vibes are so good, and I loved the romance in this. It was just such a good time. Like, I had a blast. I read it by the pool and it was so good. Like, the vibes, so good. I think I gave it like a 4.5, maybe a 4.25. I love this. This does have some spice. I just skipped over it, had a grand old time. I also feel like the female main character is so funny in this book. Like, she would say things and I would crack up because she's so hilarious, and I loved the romance. I love these characters. I definitely feel like I would want to reread this like every summer because it's just such a good time. Highly recommend for summer. It was just like the perfect, quick, easy read. Big fan. Then I read Delicate Escape by Catherine Cowles. This is the second book in the Sparrow Falls series. The first book is Fragile Sanctuary, and this this is basically about the female main character from the first book, her brother, and he is like a golden retriever, that kind of vibe, which I love a golden retriever in a book. And the female main character is very closed off, very reserved, very mysterious because of something that's happened in her past, and you're just following them. And I really enjoy this book. I love Catherine Cowell's books. Like, I fly through them. They're so fast paced. Like, I'm on the edge of my seat because I want to know what's going to happen because they are romantic suspenses. I feel like, I don't know, I can't decide which one I like more, this one or Fragile Sanctuary, but I did really enjoy this one. Maybe this one slightly more, but I gave them both 4 stars. They're just quick, easy, really enjoyable reads. Small town. Also, the found family in the series is so good, and I loved that the male main character is also like he has like a construction company, so he renovates houses, which I really enjoyed. And also, the end had me absolutely shocked. So if you want to see my reaction, you can watch my reading vlog. I was shocked by that end. Catherine Cowell's always gets me. Also, the female main character loves to garden, which I really enjoyed that aspect of it as well. And I just had a good time. I do think it's a tad long, but since I enjoy her books, I don't mind that. And it is a tad spicy compared to her other books. So just be aware of that, but I just skipped it. Enjoyed it. If you want to see me read it, you can watch the reading vlog. Next book is my favorite book of August. One of my favorite books of the entire year. First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. It comes out in February, and I am so obsessed with this book. I'm so excited for it to come out so everyone can read it. It was incredible. I'm not even going to say much about it because I went in pretty blind, but I'll give you a little bit of a little brief summary. So basically it is a nod, or like a, yeah, I guess like a nod to Sleepless in Seattle, which I have not watched the movie, but you don't have to watch the movie to read this, but if you have watched the movie, you probably will enjoy this as well. But basically it's about this guy who works at a romance hotline in Baltimore, Maryland, and yeah. And then the female main character, if you've watched Sleepless in Seattle, you probably can guess a little bit of what happens, but I don't want to share too much because I went in blind and it was perfect. This book was truly magic. Like, I loved it so much. I love B.K. Borison's books. I read the Love Light Farm series and loved it. And I feel like this book is like her best yet. Like, the romance, the characters, she has such well fleshed out characters. The plot, the writing, Aiden? Oh my gosh. I also was so excited to read something else by B.K. Borison because obviously we've only read the Love Light Farm series by her. My dog is moving my tripod. Anyways, I loved getting to read, like I said, something else from her, and it's also a new series and I cannot wait for the rest of the series. I just love her writing. It's so beautiful. The way that she like structured sentences and like works with metaphors, I don't know, it's so good. I love her writing so much. She's now one of my favorite authors. I also love the plot because I feel like it was very unique, very engaging. My dog. Okay, we're gonna scoot you back here. The banter was so funny. Like, I was laughing, kicking my feet, giggling, like loved it so much. Like, it was so much fun, but also the romance was just like so special. Like, there's something so special about this book. So you need to put it on your TBR, pre-order it. Comes out in February, and I feel like it's gonna be perfect time because February, Valentine's Day. It's so good. Like, please read it. I also read a very lengthy review about this book on Goodreads. If you do want a little bit more about the book, you can read it there, but I'm gonna try to shut up now because I need to stop. But it was literally like one of my favorite books of all time. It was so good. Like, I cannot stop thinking about it. And it literally kind of put me in a slump because I am obsessed with this book. Also, I'm reading my notes on my phone to make sure I don't forget anything. I just loved it so much. I love the characters. Both of them were just like so good for each other. Like, they just balance each other out so well. I love the side characters that we're gonna get to see glimpses of in the next books, you know? So good. Okay, let's move on. Next, I read Homebound by Meredith Trapp. I read this in my summer reading vlog as well. This is a small town cowboy romance. The guy is a single dad. Him and the female character are like best friends type situation. She is a bull rider. This was fun. Good time if you want a cowboy romance. I gave it 3 stars. I do think it was like a post 5-star flop type situation where I just read First Time Caller and then like nothing was gonna live up to that. So any book I read after that was just not gonna be as good, but I did have a good time reading this. It was just like eh. It was pretty spicy, but it is like a good cowboy romance. One of my friends read it and gave it 5 stars, so that just shows you that we have pretty similar book tastes. So I do think it's like all about the timing of when you read a book, your mood when you read a book can really change your experience reading a book. So didn't love this book, but you very much will or could if you like cowboy romances because it is a good fun old time and it's quick, easy. I did get annoyed with the female main character because she was just so oblivious. Like, the male main character was obsessed with her and she was just like la-di-da, like not paying attention. So I was annoyed by that, but it gets better and it was good. Enjoyed it, but like not my favorite. Then I read Spiral by, I don't know who the author is, I didn't write it down, but this is an arc and I gave this book 2.5 stars. Basically, it's like a hockey romance and I think she's a ballerina. It's like a sports romance. I don't know what it was. Like, I was so excited about this book because I'd heard such good reviews from early reviewers and I just didn't like it. Like, the pacing was odd, the timeline was odd. I was so confused. I did finish this book when I was in Nashville because I went to Lila Sage's book signing and I was like reading about by the pool trying to, like, did not want to finish this book, but I was like, I have to finish it because I have like 2 hours left. But the pacing was so odd. I was like, because I've read so many romance books, like I know the formula, like how it's paced. And I was like, what is going on with this book? Why is it paced so weird? I don't know, but don't let that like deter you from reading it, because all the reviews I've seen are really good. I just didn't enjoy it. Not my fave, not for me. And I'm sad because I love sports romances, but like I said, take what I say with a grain of salt, because a lot of people have been enjoying it. I think it comes out in like January, February. It is pretty spicy though. Let's keep on moving along. Next, I read Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood, which I have been like leery about reading because I have heard that it is very spicy, and Ali Hazelwood herself has like a note at the beginning of the book that says, this is spicier than my other books. I feel like going into the book knowing that helped me a lot because I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 4 stars. Basically, it's about the human character works at this company, and basically the guy, male main character, he like comes in and his company is trying to like buy out her company type situation, but she ends up meeting him the day before she meets him, and then the next day she realizes like he is coming into her work and trying to steal it or like buy it or whatever. And I will say, like, people say this is spicy. It is very spicy. Since I knew that going into it, I just skipped it, and I feel like the plot was really good, the emotional depth was really good. I feel like they both had like honestly trauma that they were working through, that they helped each other work through together. I really enjoyed this, honestly, because of my target audience. I know most of you read closed door books, so I probably wouldn't recommend it to most people that read the books that I recommend. But if you don't care about spice, if you are interested in the book, if you don't mind skipping about like 7 chapters, I would say read it, because I honestly really enjoyed it. Like, I feel like even though it was spicy, it still had a plot, it still had emotional depth, it still had really good characters and like romance, and the writing, I feel like Ali Hazelwood really popped off with this, because I borrowed it from the library and I took so many photos of quotes because I just loved the writing. It was so good. She really ate. Ali Hazelwood ate with writing this book. It was also so funny and entertaining, which all of Ali Hazelwood's books are that I've read. I've really enjoyed them. I've read all of them except the novellas. So next, I read Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver, which I am so excited about. I got an ARC of this, and I'm so thankful to the library person at Source Books. I emailed her and asked for the ARC because I work at a library, and she sent it to me, which is so kind. So I want to say thank you to her because she was so sweet and was like literally like emailed so fast, sent me the NetGalley widget, and like literally let me read it, even though I didn't get accepted to the like influencer ARC situation, but I got it because I work at the library, which was so kind. So thank you to her. I'm so excited because I was so excited about this book. It's a single dad country pop star romance. So the male main character is the brother of the girl from the first book, Wild Love, which I did enjoy. I gave it 4 stars. So I was very excited to continue the series, and especially what this one was about. So basically, he is living on the ranch farm, and he like does something with horses, trains horses or something. And the female main character is a country musician, pop star, and she ends up going to the small town, this farm, to work with Ford from the first book, basically to produce an album, and they meet, and it is so good. I love this more than Wild Love, and it might be one of my favorites of Elsie Silver's. It was so good. Like, I really love this book. There is like trigger warnings, like kind of trauma that the female main character has gone through, so I feel like it's that like slow burn, slowly opening up, the male main character just being a absolute sweetie pie to her, and he's such a good dad, and the kids are just adorable in this book. I felt like the pacing was so good. I feel like I just love seeing the female main character's journey throughout the book. Seeing the romance was so good. Like, it was just so sweet. Also, there is a couple songs in this book that were written and produced, and so you can listen to them on Apple Music and Spotify. And if you listen to the audiobook, you will, like, instead of reading the lyrics, like if you read the book physically, you read the lyrics, you get to listen to the songs on audio, which is just crazy. So I love that she did that. Like, there's actual songs that the female main character like wrote in the book, and you get to like hear them how they would sound with the lyrics. So cool. So she had like a musician produce them or something, and I love that. I love celebrity romance. I love a like singer in a book. I love that. Some people don't, but I love it. I eat it up, to be quite honest. I loved the musician aspect of it. Like I said, I also love the friendships aspect of it, and I'm very excited to see what happens in the next book and like seeing these characters in the next book. It is very spicy, we know this, it's Elsie Silver, but I just skipped on through and had a great time. I feel like the emotional depth is really good. It's worth the spice, or like skipping the spice, in my opinion. I was smiling and giggling, and I also think Elsie Silver's writing really popped off in this as well. Like, I loved so many of the quotes, and it was so good. So love it so much. My favorite in the series so far, and I cannot wait to continue. And maybe one of my favorites of all time, but Elsie Silver, like, I really want to reread it. I feel like my favorite in the Chestnut Spring series is Powerless. I gave it 5 stars, but like Wild Eyes is like giving it a run for its money because I loved it so much. So highly recommend. It's out right now. You should go read it. Okay, next I read Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonham Young. This is the second book after Out on a Limb. It comes out in January, and it's like a kind of like marriage in crisis type situation. So you see these two characters in the first book, and I loved seeing the characters from Out on a Limb in this book. I love that, the friendship aspect of that. Really enjoyed that, and I had a really good time reading this book. I feel like I just didn't enjoy it as much as Out on a Limb, and I don't even know what to rate it. I don't even really want to talk about it because I feel like every review I've seen has been like insane, like 5 stars, so good. And I feel like it just like, I almost thought it was me. Like, is it me? It's like not the book, it's me type situation, because I feel like, I don't know, I can't pinpoint about it what I didn't enjoy, because I did have a good time reading it, but I feel like as I got towards the end, I just was like less inclined to pick it up. So I don't know. I do think like people that love Hannah Bonham Young are going to love this book, and everyone that has read it that I've seen has loved this book. So like, I haven't talked about it, I haven't posted about it, I didn't post my review on Goodreads because I don't know what to rate it. Like, I'm thinking a 3.75, but I don't really know, because I feel bad giving a rating. I don't know, I shouldn't feel bad, but like, especially because it's an ARC, like I feel so thankful that I got it, but like, it didn't hit me like it hit everyone else, and that's okay. I feel like books hit people differently. Like, people could read First Time Caller and it not hit them like it hit me, which makes me sad, but it's true. I really enjoy Marriage in Crisis, Second Chance with Marriage. I do enjoy that premise, so I did enjoy that. I enjoyed Out on a Limb more, but I do think if people loved Hannah Bonham Young, you are gonna love this. So like, don't even listen to me. Like, just, this review goes in one ear and out the other if you love Hannah Bonham Young, and if you want to read her, just ignore me, basically is what I'm saying, because I'm not saying, like, I don't know. I really don't know what it was. I can't pinpoint it. It just felt like something about it was off with me. Anyways, I'm gonna move on. Next, I read With Any Luck by Ashley Poston, which is a little short story in the, I can't remember, what is it called? I don't know. This was just a really quick, easy read. I listened to it on audio while I was cleaning. That's pretty much it. It was like 40 pages or like less than an hour on audio. Not much really to say about it. So anyways, now onto the last 2 books that I read this month. I didn't read them in order, like I didn't read them back to back, but I just thought I would review them together. And that is Belladonna and Foxglove by Adeline Grace. I have seen these books in the past few years, obviously people reading them, but Wisteria just came out, and I think that's where I kept seeing more reviews of them because that 3rd book had came out. So I was very intrigued and very excited to see what it was all about, this story, because it is a gothic fantasy, and I had never read a gothic fantasy before, but I was like, I want to give it a try. It sounds really good. I've heard the audio is really good, but I just physically read them. Basically, Belladonna follows Signa, and she is grown up, and like everyone around her has died pretty much, and death follows her. Not like death in the metaphorical sense, like there's a physical death that follows her around, like a thing, a person kind of, that follows her around named Death. And she basically ends up moving to this manor. What is the manor called? Thorngrove. She moves to Thorngrove with another family member, and when she gets there, she's trying to uncover this mystery, trying to figure out why everyone around her dies, like that kind of thing. Meets family members, that kind of vibe in this book. It sounds like kind of weird, especially because I feel like it's not something that I would normally like, but I think I loved it so much because it was so unique. I'd never read anything like this book, and I loved it. Like, I really loved it. And then the second book, you follow her in a different murder mystery, and then the 3rd book, I'm not gonna say much about that, but I'm so excited for the 3rd book. But anyways, you're just following this like gothic fantasy. It's very like Regency vibes. I think it takes place like in the, I don't know what it's called, but it's like they have balls, there's like manors, the like way they are set up to be married is like kind of interesting, like because of that era. There's romance, there's murder mystery, and it was just so good. Like, I had so much fun reading these books. I feel like it is so atmospheric, eerie, a little spooky, but like not scary. I feel like it's not gonna scare you. It's just kind of like spooky, eerie, like giving you the fall vibes. Like, this is the perfect series to read in the fall. Like, it is so cozy. Well, not necessarily cozy, but like just atmospheric. Her writing, like you just feel the vibes. The like setting is so spooky, but like atmospheric. I love the writing. I feel like her writing and her quotes were so good. And I loved following like a murder mystery. I love a murder mystery. So I found that so interesting to like see who did it, what was gonna happen. And if you're thinking about reading them, I highly recommend, because they're perfect for fall, perfect for like October, like a crisp fall day. There's leaves falling, reading these books, so good. So I had such a good time reading these, and I'm so excited to read Wisteria. Like, it's gonna be so good because of the way that Foxglove ended. I cannot wait to read Wisteria. I've been saving it because I did order it, but I've been saving it for like a weekend, which is going to be in the next couple days, because I want to like kind of read it faster, because this past week I haven't had much time to read, so I want to like binge it, and I'm so excited. So anyways, I loved this. If you have been thinking about it, I highly recommend it. It is YA. At my library, it's in the new adult section, because there is like very vague, spicy scenes. Like, while other YA books fade to black, these are kind of vague. So I wouldn't even call them closed door, like no spice. They do have a little bit, but they are technically YA. Anyways, that is all the books that I read in August. I hope you enjoyed this video. I talked your ear off. So I hope you enjoyed. I would love to know what you read in August. I'm so excited for September. I've already read a few books this month, and I feel like I'm like stepping out of my comfort zone with reading what I usually read, and I'm so excited about fall, the fall reads. Get ready for fall videos coming very, very soon. Very excited to decorate, read all the books, give you all the recs. It's just gonna be so fun. So that is all. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you very soon for my next video. Bye.